Hello, welcome to Hassard Takes. I'm Matt, and with me today is Harry. He's a film commentator, he's a young lad from Leeds, and he's also my nephew. Harry, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Okay, well, we're here today to talk about MountainHead.
Yes.
Yeah, you seen it?
I have.
I've seen it.
Oh, yes.
Was it directed by Jesse Armstrong?
Jesse
famous
Armstrong,
from?
yes. Well, he's most famously did Succession quite recently.
Yeah, good.
He did Peep Show. I think he was in...
Did he do Peep Show?
Yeah. He was involved on the thick of it as well. I'm not sure to what extent. And as well, he also did a show called Fresh Meat, but I wouldn't say it quite holds up with...
Yeah, I've seen Fresh Meat, but I didn't know he was on Peep Show.
No,
Succession, brilliant, as we all know.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so, well, if you were going to introduce this film to people, Harry,
what
would you say?
If you like Succession, you will most likely like this, I imagine. But it's like Succession, but with just a completely different vein of characters who are very much like the tech billionaires.
So it's four friends, isn't it, who sort of reunite?
Yeah, and it's like four friends, and they're all sort of billionaires from Silicon Valley, and they're all kind of they're just friends, and it's about that friendship and how it kind of competes with their egos of all of them being billionaires.
Oh, we've just had a bee land on our lovely pink sofa.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a bee.
It proper plopped down there. Is it like alive? I don't think it is,
I think it might be alright. We'll give it some honey. Right, we're just going to take a break whilst we give the bee some honey. No, we're going to give the bee some honey. So,
Yes.
save the bee.
Save the bee.
Well done, lad from Leeds.
Yes, thank you. I've seen the bee movie.
Nice. So we're back to MountainHead, talking about the characters. So, what do you think of the four characters? You know, how they developed over the film?
Knobheads, really. But I think that's the intention. They are very... Apart from one, they're very unlikable. You know, they are these kind of... They're Silicon Valley billionaires, so there is one guy who is like literally based off Elon Musk. He has like a communication platform.
That's Venus, isn't it?
Yeah. Venus is called in the film. Yeah, he has a communication platform where he's just spouting all this nonsense, and all the users are just using it to just spread hatred and all that. One of the other characters, I believe, is called Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff. Yeah.
He's very much kind of like...
So Jeff's played by Randy Youssef.
Yes.
Yeah. Venus is played by Corey Michael...
Smith?
Yeah, Corey Michael Smith, well done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and who's the nice one? You said there's a nice one.
Jeff's the nice one. Jeff's the nice one. Yeah, and then there's Jason Schwartzman plays... They all call him Superman. Superman. So he's the only... So they're all billionaires.
He hosts the thing.
He hosts the event, and they're all billionaires, but he's only like a half a billionaire. So the joke is that he's like a...
Because there's that scene, isn't it, when they're on the mountain, and they're like writing the numbers on.
And they say that he's what's it they give soup to the homeless. I can't think, but they call him Superman because they're saying it like SOUP rather than super, Superman.
Because he has the business that's like meditation, yoga.
It's like,
or he describes it differently, of course.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like the way I picture it is almost like what's she called, Gwyneth Paltrow does.
Yes.
It's like a lifestyle app, and then how does he describe it?
Yeah, he describes it as a lifestyle app. It's like the holistic lifestyle app.
Yeah.
And they just go, but it's just yoga.
It's
just meditation.
Yeah.
No, it's so much more than that. Yeah. But then, obviously, the biggest star is Steve Carell.
Of course.
And he plays Grandpa.
God, what? No,
Randall. They call him Grandpa, don't they?
Yeah. And it's his whole thing is that he is dying. He's dying of a terminal illness. They don't specifically say what it is, and his whole thing is about beating death. Using that wealth to beat death, which is a very, very interesting concept.
Yeah. So he just wants to be able to
to live to
Flight to Mars.
Yeah, well, Flight Mars, upload his consciousness to a database and just keep staying there.
And that actually is quite a bit of the film, isn't it? About he wants that.
That really plays into his motivation.
But they need Jeff.
Yes, yeah. And there's a point as well actually where so they show everyone's net worths in the scene, and then at one point, so it goes Venus.
Who's like what?
200 billion. Yeah, he's like Elon Musk, richest man. And then it is Randall.
And he's like about 63
billion. And then Jeff.
And he's like from like energy and all this.
Yeah, and he's 59. And then at some point.
So Jeff's 59.
59.
So we've got 200 billion.
263, 59. And then at one point Jeff and Steve Carell swap over. And then that.
Oh yeah, he just gets like an update on his phone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very. It really. It does it like Succession, where the kind of these really big moments are just you see it from their point of view, where it's just kind of just this moment that happens very quickly and there's no real build up to it. But yeah, and then
because it was literally like, oh yeah, well, I'm now worth more than you.
Yeah.
There was a switch in the film, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then
dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, from that point on, Steve Carell gets a little bit more sinister.
Yeah. Okay, sinister.
Yeah,
how so?
Well, he before they definitely, you can tell that they're sort of forcing being friendly with each other, but it's like
because they're Brewsters, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like,
together.
like we're the gang, we're
the gang, but they're Brewsters.
But yeah,
they have more money than us.
It's clearly like a friendship built on, I guess, circumstance. But then again, aren't a lot of friendships built on circumstance in a sense?
Yeah.
So anyway, but so there is that kind of that underlying feelings of resentment.
So in the film, Venus is, for me, he was depicted very much as like just a bit crazy, a bit mad. Like, and we have this thing about his wife and his son going on. And,
yes.
Yeah, but it was just. But then Randall was like gravitating towards him because he saw him as the solution to pour his brain into the database.
Absolutely, yeah.
But why did they need Jeff?
So Jeff is important because he has an AI. Now, Venus also has an AI, but it similar in the way that Venus is based on Elon Musk. Elon Musk's AI is called Grok, which I'm sure some people watching there will be familiar with, and just how kind of much of a joke Grok is, although all AI is. But Jeff is needed because his AI is actually... It's actually useful to them, and it can be used to kind of elevate.
So how is it useful? What does it do that's different?
Because it's truthful. Is that what it is?
It tells the users what's true and what's not. So rather than being fed just random, they can see actually, those people killing those people there. That's AI generated. That's not actually happening.
Because that is a big point in the film, that kind of while they're there having this just ridiculous, just lavish, existence and kind of weekend in the background as they're just being updated on their phones. It's just these horrific international crisis.
It's economic turmoil. It's
society just like riots and stuff.
Wars between nations.
And that is brilliant in the way it's shown, and just the disconnect with these guys, what they're like bowling and stuff, and they're eating just these just from these huge platters. I mean, these huge platters, and they don't even touch them.
I'll cook this whole turbot and and all of this.
It's
an interesting bit you said when they're bowling. That's almost like the midpoint in the film.
Yeah.
But also at that point, for me, a lot of like really good lines came out.
Yeah.
Have you got any favourite lines from the film?
From you know what? For me, my favourite moments really came from there's a lot of good ones, but definitely for me it was towards the end when it really started popping up. And,
well maybe we'll come back to that.
I just really liked when they were kind of just really throwing around the idea of
we're gonna
you could be the leader.
We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come back to that. I mean, one of mine was back to you about Superman was. I don't think it was he that said it. But one of them said, "I think I'll end up at a soup kitchen."
Soup,
And then the other one was cockadoodle brew.
It's very. Jesse Armstrong really has a way of of doing very just snappy dialogue, doesn't it? It's very, like I said, if you like Succession, you will like it in that sense because it feels like a Succession spin-off. At least to me.
I get what you mean. The whole vibe about it was.
Yeah.
So that was sort of the midpoint of the film. We're in the midpoint of the podcast. So at the midpoint, what we do is we do fire or cringe. So I'm gonna fire some recent movies at you, and you just have to hit me with fire or cringe, and then with a name. Okay. A reason, sorry, not a name. Get ready? X-Men 2.
Absolutely fire. Just because it's brilliant. So it kind of predates all the MCU rubbish, and it's just very. What I like about it is in the first X-Men, they establish all these kind of ways that the X-Men are more powerful than humanity, and then in X2, the humans, funnily enough, with Brian Cox, obviously it links back to Succession. Brian Cox, he's just so sinister, and kind of what he does to, and in the way that any government would kind of deal with this, his way of dealing with the mutants is like very scary, and you really feel the threat, and it really plays well in the film.
I've not seen that, but
amazing.
It's a fire from Harry. Sorry, Hassard. What about Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning?
So I tell you what, me personally, not the craziest Mission Impossible fan. Don't know. I've seen Fallout, and I'm gonna get heat for this. I don't know. It just wasn't. It didn't quite click with me. Dead Reckoning.
Fire or cringe? Fire or cringe?
I'm gonna have to throw out. An awe because I can't.
Oh!
Answer that question. But Dead Reckoning, the first one, absolutely fire. But when Pom Clemente, if I'm getting her name right, when she's driving that absolutely massive SUV, big military car thing, and she's just driving into everyone in Italy, that is a fantastic scene, and I want a scene like that in every film from now on.
Fair enough. I'm not like you. I'm just going to straight cringe. I snort laughed in the very first scene before the movie started, and we'll move on from that. Yeah. And last one on fire or cringe. Just at cinemas at the moment, Minecraft.
Come on, Steve Lava Chicken. Come on, chicken jockey. You know, it's. Again, I'm gonna have to give a multi. I think it's fiery cringe.
Fiery cringe.
Because I think to
You saw sitting on that fence.
Yeah, I am. You know what I am. No, you know what? I'm not. I'm very much because I think to kind of. Someone who like class himself as like a cinephile, or someone who's born maybe like before like 1990 or something. That's how I feel like I'm not.
I was born before 1990.
Okay, but my point is, I just think to people who are used to better quality of films will think this is like the worst thing ever. But I do think, just unfortunately in the society that we're in, what it is as I don't know. I think for the youth and for the thing, I think it's nice for them to have something in the cinema that they can go and see, and I know that's like a real kind of. It sucks the fact that I'm kind of compromising like this, like saying, it's at least it's good they're having that, but it is nice for me to think that the younger generation do have this thing that they can go to the cinema for, and I just think the reaction to it has been very, very amusing. So I'm going to say fiery cringe.
Fiery cringe from Hassard. But we do have a special guest in the house tonight.
Yes.
They're behind the cameras. They're doing production for us. They were born post 1990.
Yes.
Fire or cringe?
Ooh, tricky. Cringe, but like in a good way.
See?
Good cringe.
See?
Okay, good cringe.
But still cringe.
Okay. Brilliant. Okay, thanks for fire or cringe. Let's get back into MountainHead.
Yes.
So, describe the moment where it all changed and it went from mates together to to basically.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we kill Jeff?
So that's it, isn't it? Him and Steve has to have that conversation, don't they? And doesn't he try and convince him to sell the AI, and he's just kind of a bit like no, and then from that point on, he's just like right, well, we need to get rid of it.
I thought it's still Carell's character, Randall.
Yeah,
Because he went and had that conversation.
Yeah, sorry, that's but it's by the rock climbing thing, isn't it? Yeah. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, no, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I don't get the AI to Venus, then I can't transport her brain to the future.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die. So then he just went, no.
Let's
just kill Jeff.
Yeah, and you really see that kind of that escalation of and it's quite funny because Superman, he's very much just kind of like, I'm going to be living here, you know, I kind of don't want that in my country. It's almost like the ghost of Banquo from Macbeth kind of thing, where it's like, I don't want to have that kind of happening in my house. And immediately Venus is just like, yes, let's do it, you know, let's get rid of him.
So there was for me, there was some amazing lines.
Yeah.
that just started off where, Randall had just had that conversation with Jeff.
Yeah.
And realised he wasn't on board.
No, yeah.
And he came back to the other three and he just went, so what's like the Brain Galaxy movie?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
So I was like,
because that is a very kind of that's quite I'd say that's quite a culture. See, our special guest is nodded. That is that's quite like a memey thing, like Galaxy Brain, like the big brain movie.
And what was the Brain Galaxy movie he came up with?
To actually kill him.
To kill Jeff,
wasn't it? Yeah. Or like,
and they just kept coming out with it.
Yeah, and sort of some of the methods that they think of and stuff. I have to say that I don't know why they just didn't just sort of like shove him down the mountain.
Well, that was all the whole thing, though, wasn't it? It's like, you know, this is Brain Galaxy movie, and then what's the other one? What is the 4 Sigma Delta? What was it?
Well, I couldn't believe when he said Sigma. Yeah.
I don't know, and it was like, take him out.
Yeah.
So they basically said the only way to solve this. And then they kept backtracking from it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but we don't mean kill him.
No,
we just mean that he's not here.
Yeah. and then that backtracking really comes into play when they actually stage a scenario where they can kill him, and then all three of them got to do it, and they just sort of.
And then the last moment,
what's it called? Randall and Venus. Absolutely, they got to like push him, and at the last second, Randall and Venus sort of step away and let Soup push him, and then obviously because he's not strong enough because he's just one guy, so he goes to push him, and then Jeff just turns around and he's like, "Bro, what the hell?
Yeah,
like, what?
Brewster, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on?" And it's just they're all so slimy, aren't they?
And all the things they come up with, they keep going for it, and then basically they're trying to get Super to do it.
Yeah,
and they won't do it. Will they?
They're too scared to. They don't.
And it's interesting. It's like, oh, we'll get people in to do it, but then it's too complicated. Other people know, let's do it, but then they couldn't do it. It was just like, and then obviously it escalates and it escalates.
Oh yes, yeah. See, that's where for me the comedy came in, because there's like a bit when sort of Jeff is trying to negotiate his position. He's saying, look, please don't. And they sort of at one point he's like still shouting at him, and it's like going, smile at us, Jeff. You know, they go, show us your teeth, and so he like smiles at him, and that just really made me chuckle. That moment, I just thought it was very funny.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff in those moments was like obviously battling for his life, thinking that he was generally going to get killed, but still trying to do a deal.
Yes, which is what they do, and that does lead in then to the very final scene. But I maybe don't want to talk about it.
No, we do want to talk about it
right now.
Right now.
So to be fair, I think this is my favourite scene of the whole thing, which is where so Venus and Jeff immediately from the get-go have been kind of the rivals of the thing, you know. It opens up with Venus and his team, and he's like ringing up Superman saying, "Oh, you know, I'm going to come to this thing," and then Soups rings up and sorry, pardon me, and just explains to Jeff what's going on, and immediately when them two meet, it's very you know, kind of clashy in a way that you know, they're still trying to be a little bit civil with each other.
But there's that undercurrent.
Yes, undercurrent, and then at the end, what happens is, so the whole weekend is supposed to be like a poker weekend, and at the end, sort of, Jeff says to Venus, he's like, "I'm gonna get this whole thing back." Like he's kind of just saying, you know, he's basically saying, you know, I'm gonna use my lawyers and this deal that you've forced me to sign because you said you're gonna kill me. You know, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it struck off, and then Venus is like, "Oh, you know, finally some side action on this poker weekend," and they have this moment of actual kind of, they like laugh and hug, and the whole time Randall, another friend Roland, Randall is watching in a car driving off, and he just sees them hug, and he sees them laughing and hugging and exchanging, and there's this really real feeling of kind of like left out and alone. Absolutely succession-y, and it's just very like kind of that. Just that political kind of chess move kind of a thing, and you know, you can tell he's like interpreting it wrong, and he's, you know, because it's sort of Randall and Venus are kind of supposed to be, there's a bit of almost like a father and son kind of thing, a little bit going on, a little bit, and so then I think for him to see that, then he's very much
very
casts
suspicious.
doubt. Yeah, it casts doubt.
It opens the way for MountainHead too, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
I'm so sorry. I went to a concert a few weeks ago and I'm still not recovered. But anyway, yeah, please continue.
Yeah, no, so that's great. So basically, that's our view on MountainHead. Thank you, Harry Hassard.
Thank you for
Hassard
having me.
Takes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely great. Anything last thing you want to say?
Thank you to our special guest. Thank you for having me. I hope everyone's having a nice day.
Yeah. So anyway, I've been Matt. This has been Hassard Takes. I've guided you through this session.
Absolutely.
Inhale and exhale. Right, we need to get some honey.
This is that thing is dead.
Yeah,
That
it
thing
happens
is
when they're on the
dead.
thing.
That is like an act of God. I think this is like a blessing.
I hope it's a blessing.
It's alive. It's alive. It just needed honey.
Oh my God, he's walking on me.
Is he on you?